Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are out there in the world. It's time for another episode of the SoundTraxx Soundbites podcast. This is Train Talk Milepost 141. I'm George. This is Tom. Let's get into it.
Sound like a plan.
I know. Well, we just got back from the NMRA train show.
Yeah, Chattanooga.
The Chattanooga National Train Show. And that was a good show, I thought.
Great. Yeah, great.
It was always good to meet a lot of you folks out there and have some great conversations.
Nice area.
Yeah, beautiful area. And after we set up the show on Friday, we actually had time to sneak away and ride the Tennessee Valley Railway.
Yeah, beautiful. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, we did just the short trip, which was about an hour.
Right.
And then they take you over and they turn the locomotive on the turntable and they give you a little bit of history on that area.
Right.
And then you get back on and you ride back. It's a short trip. So one of these days out there, I'd love to go ride the long trip because it's an all-day excursion.
It would be beautiful, especially in the middle of summer like that.
Oh, yeah.
All greened up, all the forest canopy and stuff up. So
oh, yeah.
It'd be nice scenery and everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I hope to look forward to get back out there sometime. Yeah. The good news is my brother lives in Knoxville, so this is the second time I've actually ridden the short one.
Right.
We rode the first one a few years back with my brother and his family. But so riding it again, I kind of knew what to expect, but it's still beautiful to see it. And then yeah, so one of these times out there, I need to go out and ride the full train. That's like a full day out there.
Yeah, like it serves food and everything, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty neat.
Yeah, it looks great. Yeah. So it would be a fun trip. So, but yeah, successful show. We're back to normal, and we did a RPM and we did the National Train Show, and so we're actually home for a little bit.
Yeah, it's nice to get out and move around, but it's also nice to be back.
It is nice to be back. So, well, as a result of all of the travel, I don't have anything to show off.
Right.
With my July has just been packed. I had my vacation the first couple of weeks in July, and then come back and had about 2 weeks between shows, and then this time I went up early to the St. Louis and then just stayed in the area to visit my brother in Knoxville for a few days before the Chattanooga show. Yeah. So I got nothing to show.
Right.
So what did you bring? Looks like you got something finished.
This is for a friend. He's a Santa Fe guy, Richard.
Okay.
And he has several of these. These are Athearn Genesis. He has some Intermountains as well.
Okay.
But he's a DC modeler, and he wanted to switch to Blunami. He wanted Blunami and had all the features of the DCC decoder.
Perfect.
But he wanted to run on DC. So
yeah.
This is a Genesis engine from the first generation, yellow box.
Okay. Wow. That's
so
an older.
This one's got the Blunami plug and play 8-board in it, EMD profile. It has two 810154. Richard wants all SoundTraxx speakers and SoundTraxx in it. The only thing that's not SoundTraxx would be the LEDs, which are your basic run-of-the-mill 0402s. If we sold those, he'd want those too.
Yep.
Anyway, so what I did is I just put the decoder in it. It's got the twin sugar cubes wired in series. Mm-hmm. And then we put the LEDs lights in the front, and I also lit up the class lights for him. We'll let this thing
oh, nice. Well, bring it over here to the main camera, because I know we got our second B-roll camera is the only one that can see it right now.
Yeah, we'll bring it over there. And ice cream.
There you go, selling ice cream.
I set the brakes up pretty high because I wanted to do it for the show here. And let's shut the bell off because that annoys the heck out of George. So we'll shut that off. Let's turn the lights on.
Go ahead and move this back a little bit
And the class lights are lit up on it. And we put green on this one because this is a scheduled train. So this could be the Super Chief, any of the Santa Fe's engine or trains from the 50s.
Yeah.
So these have green class lights because they're scheduled trains. We have the is that the gyro light?
That's the red emergency there.
Yep, red emergency. So that one, and then we did the other light, and that's on grade crossing.
Logic. Yeah. Yep. So
turn the red light off. You got that one on, and then you got your headlight. So is the headlight on? Yeah.
Headlights on. Yeah.
Yep.
So you got that Mars light on. So go ahead and blow the long horn.
Okay.
And we can see that nose light.
That's a grade crossing.
Yeah, there you go.
And the air horn is the Leslie A200, which is on the SoundTraxx profile. That's the appropriate horn for the Santa Fe Chief, El Capitan, and all those passenger trains from the 50s. They had the Leslie A200.
Yep.
It's on your profile, pretty much on all of our diesel profiles, I think.
Yeah.
And you can choose it simply by picking the CV. And that's what we did. And of course, in Blunami, we don't have to worry about that because we just go right to the screen for sounds, main sounds, and the horn is, I think, the second or third one down as you scroll through it.
Yep. And we did a video on that showing the details of the app. So if you guys want to see that, go to our YouTube channel and check out the videos about the app, because we show you where you can find all the sound selections and light effects and all that, and how you can enable all of this.
And I set the brake, like I said, pretty high. I set it at 188 so we could bring it to a halt for the show.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, Richard can set it however he wants. It's simply a matter of going to the gear on your app, and then regardless if it's iPhone or Android, and then scroll to the brake to CV settings 1 through 256, and go down to 117 and set your brake rate.
Yep.
And you just like that, and you're done.
Yep.
But it's fun. He's got a bunch of these to do, so I'm doing them for him, and then we'll ship them back to him. It's in the Chicagoland area.
Okay.
But all of them, every engine he has is going to have SoundTraxx Blunami in it.
Yeah.
And SoundTraxx speakers. And like I said, if we had SoundTraxx LEDs, he'd have SoundTraxx LEDs in them too.
We tried.
Yeah.
I mean, we really did. But the problem is that we couldn't get them cheap enough to be even remotely competitive.
Yeah.
Because
even the 04, and the way those are done, also the 0402s, you just took a little bit of styrene tubing, made a little bit of a shelf or a cylinder to put it in there, and then do the standard. Stick it in there.
Yep.
Put the micro crystal clear, and then seal it up, and then it's painted black behind it to kill off all the bleed over. Same with the headlights. The headlights are individual, so just like Athearn had it. So basically, I just removed the bulbs and put the LEDs in it.
Okay.
And it's just a simple. And this is a factory painted unit, so she's pretty right out of the box. This is the Highliner shell. Athearn did a beautiful job on these. Continues to do so, and they're just a great model, a great combination. Very heavy. And it'll run with a B unit also. And most of these are going to have ABBA.
Okay.
So he's going to have all decked out. And I think he's using Walther's Proto passenger cars.
Okay.
So it's going to be
that's
really
going
nice.
to be a pretty train.
Beautiful. Yeah. And then, like with the Blunami, you couldn't. I told him you couldn't go wrong there because he's basically got all the everything's directional too. But he's got all the controls and stuff in DCC. But he runs his DC power.
Yep.
So he doesn't have to even buy a a DCC system, actually.
And that's one of the benefits, is because, from Blunami as a DC user, he doesn't have to convert his entire fleet. Wherever he runs that train, he would just make sure to turn the track power up in that particular section of track.
Right.
If he's got block control or whatever, and then just turn off the blocks where his DC locomotives are. And then now he gets all the benefits of a wireless controlled DCC system for only the cost of a decoder. Right. I mean, it's really, you can't beat it.
Right, and it's got all the functionality of your top-of-the-line Tsunami 2 decoder.
Absolutely.
All the hyperlight functions and features. And it's very simple programming.
And this is really funny to me because there's a lot of people out there that have this loyalty to JMRI. And I'm not, people get a bad idea that I hate JMRI. I don't. But I don't like the fact that it's a blind reliance. Right. But what this is the Blunami basically gives you a SoundTraxx programmed JMRI that you don't have to worry about something being wrong or an error in the description because it's written by our team.
Right.
And so everything does everything you need to do. And so when it comes to light selections, you don't need to remember CV51 to 130 plus 64 for the crossing logic or whatever. All you have to do is go in and select and hit it and select the settings in your lights. And like I said, we talked about that in the app discussions and show you where all that is.
Right. And another thing I'm going to utilize with the Blunami, and George has explained this multiple times on both our videos and in the short videos, is when I'm doing a lot of these for Richard, so he's going to have ABBA. Another simplicity, added simplicity with the Blunami is I'll have this one dialed in, and once I get it exactly the way he wants it, then I will copy the CV utility. I'll use that copy utility, and then I will simply, as each engine comes online, I get the lights installed and then the decoders, and I can simply copy to another loco on there. Use that function, and that simply will transmit the settings from this engine to any other engine I'm setting up, including the two B units and the other A unit.
Yep.
Just like that.
Yep. So. And it does everything but the address.
Right.
I want to make sure that's understood because the app knows that the addresses are going to be unique.
Right.
So it'll copy basically everything but the address. And so when you do that, you get two essentially virtually the same decoders.
Right.
And then so if you have 3 or 4 units and they're all wired up the same, they're all planning to run the same, braking, momentum, all those settings, equalizers, sound selections, you just hit copy and
right.
And they're all copied in a matter of seconds.
And the only thing probably the B units won't have will be the horn and the
right,
lights.
But you could go in and you could have an A unit setting and then you can copy, make the changes to mute the horn, mute the bell,
right.
And then save that and then copy the B units to the other B units.
So all this stuff will be set up just like that, and like George just explained, very simply with the copy CV utility and then transmitting it to another locomotive.
Now, refresh my memory, and you may or may not know this right off the top of your head, but the Santa Fe would have 304A, 304B, 304C, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yeah, and some of them had numbers, because what Richard wants on these, I'm glad you mentioned that, is like the other thing it's going to be, I'm waiting on is custom decals. He had numbers for me to put on them.
Okay.
And he had the train numbers. They did have the A on there.
Okay.
Like what he wants is the train numbers. So like this is actually going to be, I think, 315 is what it's going to be when I'm done with it. So each of the trains had a specific number on the timetable, and that's what he wants here. So I'm going to put that there. It'll be basically the same font, but it'll be a black background and white numbers. It'll say 315 on this one.
Okay.
So will it say A? I mean, I'll clarify that with him, but basically what he wanted was 315 on this one.
Well, where I was going with that, and part of the reason I asked that is because your loco nickname, so some of the railroads I know named the A, B, and C all the same number, just A and B and C.
Right.
Well, with traditional DCC, you can't really do that, or they're all set to the same address. And so with the Blunami app, you can do that because you can change the loco nickname to Santa Fe F7 304A.
Right.
And then it'd be Santa Fe F7B 304B.
Right.
And so forth. And so when he's going through the menu, he can build his consist really quickly because he'll quickly be able to identify which are the A, the B, and the C units, even though they all have the same number. Now, when it comes to the DCC address, since he's using DC, it really doesn't matter, but he could set them all up to 304 or 315 like you were saying.
Right.
And when he puts them on a DCC track, he selects 315 and they all run.
Right.
But the app doesn't matter because it'll send the command to each locomotive in the consist through its own paired communication.
Right.
So you could have 10 304 locomotives on the layout, and none of them are going to get each other's commands because when you're sending through the Blunami, it's a paired communication. Only that one decoder gets the command.
Right, and or consist.
Well, the consist, that's what the app does, the consist. So it'll send the consist each to their own locomotive, and then it'll filter that command based on what settings you have enabled for the lead, the middle, and the trailing units.
Right. Basically, he's not planning on doing it. He runs all DC, so he's going to be, just like George said, he's going to be basically fine with it. If he wants to make it 315, it can be. But yeah, the local nickname is going to be huge for him, especially building his consist.
Yep.
Because all of his stuff is going to be mix or match. He can run them together. I'm sure Santa Fe had a practice on that. I'm not up on my Santa Fe stuff totally. I do think they're beautiful locomotives. I love the war bonnet, but Richard would know better than I on that.
Yeah, the war bonnets are always classic, and they just, and of course, me being a diesel guy like you, I'm a 70s, 80s really, and I really love the blue bonnets on the Santa Fe engines. To me, they just look classic, but this has that all-time classic. The only problem with it is because they marketed that so well, you could get that in just about every train set that was around, and so it almost overplayed their hand, so to speak.
Right, and to get it in this high a quality was a godsend for guys that do love the Santa Fe. And like you mentioned, my little brother, when he was around, he got a train set, and his train set was the Santa Fe Super Chief is what he got. Which I think it was lifelike or
I think they had one of those with the pancake motor.
Yes, lifelike, and John, my little brother, had Santa Fe, so he's a big Santa Fe guy forever.
There you go.
That was his train set. But as far as this goes, this is a Highliners Genesis unit, Blunami plug and play 8 board, 2 810154 mini cubes with the baffle wired in series, and then LED 0402s in it. and Blunami.
Turned out great.
Yeah, it runs great. It's got that great 567 gurgle. He really loves that. I've sent him some videos of it already, so he's loving it.
So he's drooling over it already.
He just thinks it's great, yeah. So
that's awesome.
And I enjoy working on them for him, and I appreciate it at the same time, but it's also fun to do something like this because I don't have any F units, so I can work on these and get to run them a little bit, then I can send them back home. So,
there you go. Exactly.
Thank you, Richard.
Yes, thank you, Richard. So hopefully you'll be enjoying these before too much longer.
Yep.
So with that, kind of when it comes to wiring, this is a topic that comes up every now and then. So somebody will call up, and you see these also, where they'll call up and say, well, I tested my LED and it works fine, but then when I put it together and put the shell on it, suddenly the light doesn't work. What's wrong with the decoder?
Right.
It's not always the decoder. Right. I've had this happen to me. And part of it is as Tom was talking about buying these 0402 LEDs, those wires are small.
They are.
And they can almost fit between a shell and a frame.
They will. Without
interfering with the fit in any way. And especially if you get some of those that have the magnet wire on it.
Right.
And one of the things I've seen over the time is, when you're stripping them out, because the wire is so small, you don't always just take the insulation. Sometimes you take a couple of strands.
You do.
Or maybe sometimes you even start to break the wire inside, and you don't realize it until you've gotten to put the solder on it. And just that little wiggle when you put the shell back on may be enough to break that wire loose.
Right.
So if you have a decoder or something that you're doing an installation with, and then you have that break loose, suddenly a light doesn't work, always test the lights. Always pop the shell and take a look. As we've mentioned on this podcast and various other shows on our YouTube channel, stuff like that, we do hand test every single decoder that's on our production floor downstairs below us. And that means that our technicians take the time to test that decoder before they package it to make sure it's working. So you're not the end of my QC department. We find those problems before, whether there's just a component, it was just premature failure, whatever the case is. Now, is that going to be 100% perfect? Well, no, but it's 99%. Because when it comes to electronic components, certainly the next time you apply power to it, it could damage. It's much like the brake pedal on your car, right? The last time you pressed the brake pedal, it worked.
Right.
But because the process of the engineering and everything, we do test these components to make sure they are durable. But when you're buying hundreds of thousands of these things at a time, there's going to be one or two that may fail prematurely.
Right.
But most of the time, because we do that hand test, look at your model first. Look at the wiring. Check for broken wires, loose wires. Also, cold solder joints don't always mean they're conductive.
Right.
And so that's something else you want to look for as well. So when you're doing the work, test them. Now, one of the things I've done, even with the PNP, or if I'm using, like, say, for example, one of Nick's Decoder Buddies or one of the Athearn 21-pin boards, what I'll normally do is I have my battery tester, which is a 9-volt battery with 2 leads on it. One with a resistor in it for the positive, and then the other side is the negative side. And then those alligator clips. And what you can do is you can take those alligator clips, put little straight pins in them, and probe. And so if you connect between the positive and, let's say, FX3, you're not backfeeding that power into the decoder because there's no circuit there to backfeed into.
Right.
But you can test that light to make sure it's illuminated.
Right.
And when the light turns on, okay, the connections are good. Okay, great. Now, if you put it on, it still doesn't work. You could do a factory reset, CV8 to 8, or if you have other settings in there, you could do a CV8 to 13, which resets only the 3-dot CVs, which most cases there's only 2 CVs in there that are relevant. It has to do with the wheel clickety-clack spacing and the number of axles. But if you do that CV8 to 13, it will flash all the lights. If the lights all flash, that means your decoder does have control of it, but there's a setting somewhere that either you're overlooking or you may have inadvertently set wrong, or didn't realize was set properly. Like, there's a lot of common mistakes. People think the FX3 lighting output is turned on and off with F3.
Right.
I'm sure you see that a lot too.
I hear it all the time. F5 is not FX5.
Correct. F5 is not turning on the FX5. And so we have to explain to many of our modeling friends that actually the lights turn on with button 24, 25, 26, 27. And then we have to then teach them how to use that. And that's where it goes back to learning your DCC system. But remember, It's not always the decoder. I know it's easy to blame the mysterious electronics that are sitting on the board that work with some voodoo software, programming and all this stuff. But most of the time, it's not going to be something like that, especially if it's a brand new decoder installation. And then the only other thing is make sure you're using electronics, surface mount electronic compatible flux and solder if you are soldering to this stuff. Because if you go to the hardware store like the Home Depot, or if you go to Ace Hardware or whatever it is to go get your soldering materials, chances are you're probably going to damage a decoder.
You'll damage the solder pads on it quick.
Yeah, because that stuff has a high acid content and will start attacking random components.
Right.
And the first time we ever ran into this, honestly, was we did the PNP, and it wasn't called a PNP at the time. It was an AT1000. This is going back way in the early days. Yeah. And I had a retailer, because the LC had a AT style, but the Tsunami really is what brought the sound forefront. Right. Because it was, still a little expensive. It wasn't 8-bit sound doesn't really sound very good. Right. And especially by today's standards, but they still weren't as predominant as sound is today. Right. And so we come up with the AT1000, which now made it a lot more accessible to people with their models. And we had a store owner, and he calls me up. He says, "George, I can't get through an installation." I said, "Well, what are you doing?" He says, "Well, I don't know. I'm putting this decoder together, and I test run it, and everything runs fine. Then I leave it there. I go to do something at the store, and then I come back, and the decoder's dead. It's not doing anything." And he sends it to me. We repair it, and we send it back to him, and he does it again. Problem happens again. He couldn't figure out what was going on, and he did about 5 or 6 of these. And finally, he got frustrated, so he sent me the model. Now, of course, being here at our factory, I had access to the proper surface mount flux and everything. So I installed it, put it together, tested it, packed it up, sent it to him, put it on the track. He says, "It works. What'd you do?" I said, "I don't know. I installed the decoder." Yeah. And that was before we really realized how much that flux choice will make. Right. And the store, and I'm not going to name the store because I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus, but they were really heavy with brass models, and he was using Tix. Because Tix brand is a flux that you can get at any hobby store. And I've even found several of our current stores when I go visit saying, "Hey, don't put that by the decoders." They go, "Well, it's flux for solder." Yes, but that will damage decoders. And they had no idea.
It's for putting brass models together.
Correct.
It's not,
so years ago,
it's not electronic solder.
It's not electronic solder.
I've got it.
But that's what they would have. That was what the hobby stores had at the time.
I'll be darned.
And so he was putting Tix on it, and as soon as we realized, we said, "Hey, what flux are you using?" He said Tix. We said, "Don't use that. Go get something else." And the stuff we recommend is that Chip Quick. You can buy it on Amazon or DigiKey.
SMD 291
NL.
Yep.
Yep. It comes in a syringe, so you can control how much you're using.
It's great stuff.
And it's designed for surface mount electronics, so that will eliminate many of the problems that you may run into when you're doing your installations. So with all of that, check your wires, make sure, worst case, just give your wire a little tug when you're done soldering to make sure that it's a solid connection, and not just, because I've had it even where I'll give it a little tug and it just falls right off of my hand. Right. So that was a problem waiting to happen. Right. Because then what happens is then you have a loose wire that's running around that when you put the shell on, it may not touch that tab. It may touch the processor lead, in which case, Or
like you said earlier, when you're with these really thin, I don't even know what gauge they are. They're really tiny wire, vinyl, but they would just when you're pulling the insulation away, just make sure you don't pull all of them at one strand, because that one strand breaks at the wire. It'd drive you nuts trying to figure that out.
Yep.
And exactly. He's like, it's still on there, but the wire is broken.
Yep, exactly. So always take your time and make sure to test it. And if you do run into questions, we're a phone call or an email away. Right. We are partners in your hobby. We want to help you. We want to make sure you're successful, especially when it comes to using SoundTraxx products. So if you have a question or you're not sure, check out the videos on our YouTube channel and give us a call. If you have any further questions, Tom or myself will be happy to help answer anything we can. We Absolutely. Do try to strive to have the best customer service in the industry.
Absolutely.
So I don't think I got anything else. Like I said, we're home for a little bit, so I don't have any shows to promote or anything like that.
Get some more stuff done. I'll get Richard's stuff done and get back on my U-boat. And I do have a caboose that's brass. I will be using that Tix flux on to put a light on the end of it. But,
there you go.
That's what the Tix flux is for. Yep. So it's going to be soldering a light with the resistance unit. like a bug zapper.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
The only other thing I got is coming up October, we've got our Colorado RPM.
Right.
That's going to be in Greeley, Colorado,
Yeah.
In conjunction with the museum, the Colorado Model Railroad Museum. So be sure to check out the website, corpm.org.
Right.
Check it out. Sign up. Come visit us. We'll be out there. SoundTraxx is one of the major sponsors of this event because we believe in these RPMs. We I enjoy the hell out of them.
Well, the guys at the RPM, they use the SoundTraxx decoders because of realism and how they operate. So it kind of goes hand in hand with they build replicas of their models of what they saw, or what they're trying to depict, and they use the SoundTraxx decoders. So they do go hand in hand.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're able to make it out there, October 17th and 18th on that weekend, so check it out, sign up, and I think next time or the next one after that, we're going to have Michelle come on and join us for the podcast so we can talk to her about the RPM as well.
Great.
So we're going to promote that. So anyway, that's everything I've got for you. This is podcast episode 51,
right,
which is season 3, episode 16. I have to check my notes because I don't always remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, it's great.
Time flies.
It's great to have the notes too.
Yeah, exactly.
Believe me.
So with that, I think we'll go ahead and sign off. Any last thoughts?
Nope. Great to be here, and thank you guys for calling in, and we appreciate also the kind words of support for our help, and we'll continue. We love to receive those, and we do also appreciate our customers as well.
Yep, absolutely. So with that, I can't think of anything better to add. So
until next time.
Till next time, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to like and subscribe to this content and click that notification bell so you can be notified whenever we post new content. And then be sure also, if you're not watching this on YouTube, to go to our YouTube channel and click the link and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We got lots of great information that we post there every week to help you be successful with your models. So with that, this has been Train Talk from Milepost 141, the SoundTraxx Soundbite Podcast. And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.